Welcome to the Tribe Digital Marketing Series. I'm joined today by Rob English, who leads training and development for LeadMD. Rob, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me here, Josh.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So it's interesting. You are doing training and development for a marketing company. How does that come about?
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of those things where I've had some background in more on the advertising side of
Okay.
things. And it's a lot of fun just to work with a lot of these marketing professionals who have all this experience. And at first, I struggled with, how do I fit in here, or how do I, make what I'm working with applicable to the tribe. And what I've realized is, training, marketing, there's an underlying level of psychology that you need to understand between the two. So if you're trying to market to somebody, you need to understand what they're thinking or what they need or what they want.
Right.
And it's the same thing in the training world, right? You need to understand from a learner's perspective, what do they need to be successful, or what do they need to have in order to stay interested and understand the material. And even if we're looking at the life cycle of how do they continue their growth at a company or their career growth, I think there's a lot of similarities there in some of the things that we look at.
Oh, that's super interesting. So if you're able to apply that then, in a time when, you're typically handling a lot of our onboarding and career pathing for our organization, right?
Sure. Yep.
That's probably something people need to be thinking about now more than ever as things are getting clamped down. So what can you do, or what should people be thinking about in their roles right now, whether it's internally or externally, right? To pivot their thinking during COVID and people being in uncomfortable situations.
Sure. Yeah. And I think it's easy to get caught up in the crisis, regardless of what your role is, right? But it's important to not be so focused on that you're not thinking about what's gonna come up 2 months down the road, or 3 months down the road, or next year. How can you not only make an impact in your personal life, but even maybe the people around you, or how can you impact the organization in a different way than you've classically been accustomed to, right?
Yeah.
And even things like this, Josh, like you're doing a great job. You're thinking outside of the box, and even though we can't meet face to face right now or film something in a studio,
Sure.
we're still finding a way to share ideas and have conversations around whatever topics going on in the world, right?
Absolutely. How important do you think it is for people to continue down whatever internal learning and development paths they have? I feel like it's one of those things that could easily get pushed to the side. Yeah. When, like you said, it's easy to get caught up in the crisis. That is one of the best lines I've heard. I got to be honest with you. So that seems like you're getting caught up in the crisis. Just your learning and development might just get pushed to the side. Sure. What would you say to people to remain focused there and focus on the people internally, not just externally?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just keeping your eye on, and, maybe goals have shifted over the last few months. Maybe Sure. things have changed, but, looking at, what's important, I think in my world, it comes down a lot to people, right? People are important. So even though there might be a million other things going on, just staying grounded in those things that maybe you already set goals for people for the year, or, here we use OKRs, so how do we stay focused on those and just continue not only the organizational growth, but also our own personal growth? Whether it's the organization driving it or setting up trainings, or, just staying engaged with growing our minds over time. I think those things are important.
Yeah. It seems to me that if you let those things slip, it almost feeds the fear.
Yeah. Right.
Because people are afraid of losing their jobs. Unemployment's at an all-time high, all this, the fear that's circling around and getting caught up in it, to your point. If you can stay the course and stay focused on the development of individuals, the paths that you start out, whether it's an OKR or whatever, that's going to take one thing off their plate.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Yep. That business as usual here.
Yeah.
So now I can go focus on, if I'm a marketer, to bring it full circle here, if I'm a marketer, I can focus on my customer, what they need to hear, standing in their shoes and providing that human element, because my house is in order over here.
Yep, exactly. See, look at those similarities, right?
Yeah, no, I love it. Dude, this is a really impactful talk. I appreciate you taking the time.
Of course, love it. Thanks, Josh.
Right on.